Windows 7 is coming to an end-of-life support in 2020, more precisely on 14 January 2020. But what does that mean exactly, and what to expect after the date? And even more importantly, what do you need to do? Stick with Windows 7, upgrade to Windows 10, switch over to Linux, or even consider joining Apple's exclusive club? My answer might surprise you. Let's check it out. Hey name tags, welcome. This is Ash from In My Tech. On this channel, I want to help you develop a better relationship with tech. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and click the bell icon to go from newbie to techie. And please use my Amazon affiliate links in the description below to help out the channel. So this is part of an email I received, which I will respond to in a future video in more detail. But the first part of the email is to do with concerns about Windows 7 end-of-life support in January 2020. First, let's break down what it actually means. A lot of this information is available on Microsoft's website, but we will try to read between the lines. End of support doesn't mean end. Windows 7 will still continue to work, but with reduced features, but that's for the general public. In the enterprise sector, it will be up to individual organizations to continue with Windows 7 or not. And that would depend on the deal they have directly with Microsoft. Any deployment of Windows 10 upgrade would have already been decided by management at this stage. As for embedded devices like ATMs or gas pumps, which are running with Windows 7, their life cycle are usually different to versions of Windows on personal computers. Here is what's not going to work anymore for the general end user. No more security updates, and your Windows 7 PC will not be protected by Microsoft Security Essentials, so yeah, your computer might become vulnerable. Windows 7 updates have been a problem in my experience way back since 2015 and 16, coincidentally when Windows 10 was being offered as a free upgrade. I remember spending quite a few weekends trying to fix Windows 7 updates for clients' computers, but in the end I gave into Windows 10. It just wasn't worth the time. However, security on a Windows PC isn't just about updates and antivirus software, but rather a common sense and good administration. So if you were using your PC irresponsibly in the first place, you probably won't see a difference much. Microsoft customer service will no longer be available to provide Windows 7 technical support. If you're anything like me, I've never actually benefited from their support, so I don't see how that would change now. Related services for Windows 7 will also be discontinued over time. For example, certain games such as Internet Backgammon and Internet Checkers, as well as Electronic Program Guide for Windows Media Center, are all scheduled to be discontinued in January 2020. Support for Internet Explorer on a Windows 7 device will also be discontinued. The only reason I ever used Internet Explorer on a Windows 7 machine was to go download Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, and sometimes I didn't even do that if I had the installation app on a pen drive. There will be no driver updates or support or even existence of drivers for some newer devices that you may want to connect to your PC. And again, this isn't anything new since Windows 10's infiltration. Manufacturers have not really been maintaining drivers for Windows 7 as much. So what will continue to work? You can still install and activate Windows 7 after 14 January 2020 in theory. You can still install all other applications like Google Chrome, VLC Media Player and others, but don't expect a flawless experience as time goes by. Microsoft Office will still work depending on the version you are using. As for gaming, Microsoft brought DirectX 12 support to Windows 7 in August 2019, 6 months before its end of support, against first common logic. So I'm guessing game coders will still be supporting Windows 7 for a while if it's anything like Windows XP, as it may take a while before users of Windows 7 completely dissipate. Talking about Windows XP, here's history repeating itself, well, sort of. This is close to my heart as it was thanks to mainstream axing of Windows XP which brought me into the tech world, and more precisely introducing me to Linux. So the big question, what do you do? Stick with Windows 7, upgrade to Windows 10, or try another OS like Linux or MacOS? My answer might surprise you. The first big difference to Windows XP and of support situation is to still being able to upgrade to Windows 10 for free, despite what Microsoft says on their website. We didn't get this offer with Windows 7. You had to buy the license or go with piracy. I do not condone piracy. Although Windows 10 free upgrade officially ended in June 2016 or July 2016, you can still upgrade for free as long as you have a valid Windows 7, 8 or 8.1 license key. I have done 2 in the last week. Video tutorial, anyone? The more important question is, should you upgrade to Windows 10? The answer is, if you want to stick with Windows platform, then yes, unfortunately, but only if you want to stick with Windows. But do not pay for full price license. That's just madness. You can still get a free upgrade or get it cheap on eBay and the likes. Shop with caution. Next question. Can you upgrade your existing old PC which shipped with Windows 7 to Windows 10? The answer is, it entirely depends on your hardware. There is no telling which hardware will still work, especially for drivers. If you have a 10-year-old desktop or laptop, especially if it has a traditional hard drive and 2 GB of RAM, do not upgrade to Windows 10. Do yourself a favor, put Linux on there or upgrade the hardware first before you upgrade the OS if it is financially viable. At the very minimum, an SSD upgrade for the OS. There is no excuse unless you are so poor you have no money for food or shelter, in which case you've got bigger problems in life. What about a more recent one like a 5-year-old computer? Then it's worth upgrading. My previous main computer, the AMD FX 8350, was built 5 years ago and it happily ran Windows 10 since 2016 without ever requiring a wipe and reload. It's still here and I'm using it as a secondary PC and a test PC. Future videos will include comparison video editing and gaming tutorials. However, do this Windows 10 upgrade with caution. Back up all your personal data before you do an upgrade or fresh install, and if you can, create a disk image of your Windows 7 system and keep separate. Do not blindly trust Windows automatic in-house upgrade or restore back to Windows 7 feature. What about macOS? Well, if you have the money to throw away and join the all-exclusive Apple Club ecosystem, why are you watching this video? Do I hate Apple? Good question. Video topic to be covered. Because you should know by now, we like to encourage people to try Linux on this channel, especially if all you do is browsing. There is no reason to stay on Windows if you are a general user. Unlike the average person, I am blessed to be able to use any operating system I wish, as I have access to more than one machine at any given time. So right now I have dual boot with Windows 10 and Linux Mint on most machines, some of them on separate drives and some of them on the same drive, which I do not recommend for beginners as dual boot, and even a triple boot OS with macOS additionally on my main current computer in the one PC to rule them all challenge. Windows, Linux and Mac on a single computer, whereby I can boot into Microsoft, Ubuntu, which is a Linux Mint, and macOS on a single one. So that's Windows. Ta-da! Second one, we've got Linux, macOS version. And voila, here we go. That's the job done. This is not to gloat, but to say that it is really difficult for me to give you advice on what to do, as I have options and you may not. Luckily for you though, I was in your shoes when Windows XP was being axed as a complete tech noob, so I can pull from that experience. Final thoughts: if you only have one machine and limited funding, right now install a virtual machine like Oracle VirtualBox and test a few different OS, including Windows 10 and Linux. If you do not know how to do this, I would gladly do a tutorial if you request in the comments below. Even better, you can get a pen drive and create a Linux installation drive, video up here, and live test a Linux distribution of your choice. If you can afford a backup drive, you should be backing up anyway. Create a system image and back up your data and test Windows 10 or Linux on there, not as a dual boot on the same drive though. If you can afford a second computer, even better, use the older one for Linux and the newer one for Windows 10. And if you do have access to funding and hardware, Time to build that PC and start experimenting. Watch the whole series up here, the One PC to Rule Them All Challenge series. And also watch this one if you are struggling with any PC hardware troubleshooting issues. Consider subscribing and click the bell icon and use my Amazon affiliate links, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.